She was a queen. She was a conspirator. And for decades, she was one of the most feared women in the Portuguese court. While many expected silence and submission from her, Dona Carlota Joaquina chose confrontation, intrigue, and power. A woman who never accepted a supporting role, not as a wife, not as a queen, and not as a widow. On January 7, 1830, a figure who still divides historians today died at the Palace of Queluz, but her death didn't end her story. On the contrary, it revealed just how much she had shaped the destiny of Portugal and Brazil. To understand this formidable woman, we have to go back to her origins. Dona Carlota Joaquina was born in Aranjuez, Spain, on April 25, 1775. As the eldest daughter of King Charles IV of Spain, she grew up surrounded by power, palace intrigues, and the certainty that ruling wasn't a privilege exclusive to men. From an early age, she stood out for a lively intelligence, cutting irony, and the fiery temperament traits rarely tolerated in a woman of her time. Spain, under the influence of strong female rulers like Isabella I of Castile, offered a different model of female power than what she would find in Portugal. It was this environment that forged her unyielding will. At just 10 years old, her life took a dramatic turn. She was sent to Portugal to marry the Infante Dom João, who would later become King João VI. The marriage wasn't born of affection, but of cold, hard political strategy, designed to seal an alliance between the Spanish and Portuguese crowns. Imagine being a child thrust into a foreign court, bound to a stranger for the sake of politics. It was here, while still a girl, that Carlota Joaquina stepped definitively into the center of Luso-Brazilian history. She arrived in a court that was far more conservative and patriarchal than the one she had left. The shock was immediate, and so was her refusal to conform. The marriage to Dom João quickly proved to be an emotional and political disaster. The two were complete opposites. He was hesitant, cautious, and deeply insecure, often crippled by indecision. She was ambitious, incisive, and domineering, brimming with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. Where he saw nuance, she saw opportunity. Where he wavered, she acted. This fundamental clash of personalities would define their relationship and the politics of the entire Portuguese Empire. The court was soon filled with whispers about their constant disagreements and mutual disdain. The situation escalated in 1799 with Dom João's mother, Queen Maria I. Descending further into mental illness, Dom João officially assumed the regency of Portugal. It was at this moment that the marital conflict exploded into a full-blown political crisis. Dona Carlota openly despised her husband. She didn't just disagree with him, she considered him weak and unfit to rule. While he struggled with the weight of responsibility, she thrived on the thrill of the game. She maintained extramarital affairs, not just out of passion, but as a public display of her independence and contempt for her husband. Moritantad, she never hid their desire to rule in his place. This ambition culminated in 1805, when she was directly linked to a conspiracy to have Dom João declared mentally incompetent and removed from power. The plot, known as the Conspiracy of the Avocados, aimed to replace him with Carlota Joaquina as regent. The plan was discovered, and the fallout was devastating for her. Though she escaped severe punishment due to her royal status, the couple officially separated. She was effectively exiled from the center of power, confined to the Palace of Queluz. But Carlota Joaquina was not one to withdraw from politics. She simply changed her strategy. From the shadows, her plotting continued, more determined than ever. Then, in 1807, Napoleon's armies invaded Portugal, forcing one of the most audacious moves in modern history: the flight of the entire Portuguese court to its colony, Brazil. For Dom João, this was a strategic retreat, an opportunity to preserve his crown and govern his empire from a safe distance. But for Carlota Joaquina, it was a nightmare. She openly despised Brazil, which she saw as a wild, uncivilized backwater. To her, Brazil was peripheral. The real game of power, the real stage for her ambition, was in Europe and the Spanish dominions in the Americas. During her years in Rio de Janeiro, she never stopped scheming. Her gaze was firmly fixed on the chaos unfolding in her native Spain, which was also occupied by Napoleon. For years, she attempted to position herself as the regent of Spain or to lead the Spanish territories in South America, claiming dynastic rights as the daughter of the Spanish king. This became known as Carlotismo, a political project to create a new monarchy in the River Plate region, with her at its head. She sent letters, negotiated with local elites, and plotted with generals. None of her ambitious projects ultimately succeeded, but even in defeat, she never abandoned the art of conspiracy. She proved that even from the supposed edge of the world, her influence could still be felt. After 14 years in Brazil, the court was forced to return to Portugal in 1821 following the liberal revolution of This revolution had established a constitutional monarchy, a system that limited the king's absolute power. For Carlota Joaquina, this was an abomination. Upon her return, she became one of the main symbols of resistance against constitutionalism. She made her opposition public and dramatic. When the time came to swear allegiance to the new constitution, she flatly refused. This act of defiance turned her into a hero for the absolutists, those who believed in the divine and unlimited right of the king to rule. She turned her residence, the Palace of Ramalho, into a veritable headquarters for the counter-revolution. It became the nerve center of absolutist plotting. There, she held meetings, brokered alliances, and gave her full, unwavering support to her favorite son, Dom Miguel. The goal was clear and uncompromising: to restore absolutism at any cost and destroy the liberal regime that she saw as a threat to tradition, order, and her family's divine right to power. For years, she was feared not just as a queen, but as a brilliant and ruthless political strategist. Her enemies called her the Termagant of Toulouse, a testament to her fearsome reputation. In her final years, though estranged from the official court, Dona Carlota Joaquina finally saw the beginnings of the triumph she had fought for. The political winds were shifting. Absolutism was making a comeback. Her son, Dom Miguel, was gaining power and would soon usurp the throne from his niece, triggering a brutal conflict. The country she had plotted to control for so long was marching toward confrontation. She died on January 7, 1830, at the age of 54, in the Palace of Qualus. The same place where she had once been confined. She passed away shortly before Portugal plunged into a devastating civil war, a conflict that would pit her own sons against each other. Dom Pedro, the liberal emperor of Brazil, and Dom Miguel, the absolutist king of Portugal. The war was, in many ways, the culmination of the ideological battles she had championed for so long. Her influence, even after her death, was inescapable. Dona Carlota Joaquina was Queen of Portugal, Queen of the United Kingdom of Portugal, Brazil, and the Algarves, an Empress honorific of Brazil. The titles failed to capture the essence of who she was. Above all, she was a woman who refused to obey. Complex, ambiguous, and deeply controversial, she was admired for her intelligence and feared for her ambition. A figure who defied the constraints of her time, and silently, or not so silently, shaped the destiny of two continents. History has often tried to reduce her to a caricature of the ugly, scheming, unfaithful wife. But the truth is far more fascinating. Without Dona Carlota Joaquina, the history of Portugal and Brazil would never have been the same. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the life of one of history's most powerful women, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories of figures who dared to defy their world.